welcome. I've got a really fun envelope folio for you that you can make using any pattern paper, double-sided, any shape as long as it is a rectangular shape. And I'm using some of the freebies. These are mostly from the Thankful Thursdays, and it's January, so those are free. Okay, so and this one is from the Valentine kit from this year. It's got tons of ephemera for you to load in different projects. And what I'm hoping is that you'll join me with whatever you're working on, with some of the papers from the journal you're working on, and let's make some stuffed envelope folios. Okay, see you soon. I'm Rose. Hello, thank you so much for joining me. So I'm working with the Thankful Thursday from the third week of January. These are the fussy cuts from that. I'm also using some of the paper from the Thankful Thursday, which is the week before, from week 2. Okay, and freebie papers. These are papers from my Sovereign Freebie papers. This month, I'll put a link to the video that you'll need to watch to get the password for that, but it's 20 sheets of Valentine paper. So I wanted to work with those couple of things for a minute, because what I've got to show you, you can really use any double-sided piece of paper. You could use A4, or you could use 8.5 by 11, or you could use some book page. And I'll just show you quickly how these go together. So what you'll do is, I decided these ones would be a vertical. You can do them vertical and horizontal. I did that because of how the patterns were printed. Okay, so you want to make sure to pay attention to that. And all you do is you decide you want them to overlap just ever so much when you fold them together. See if you can see that. That doesn't show you very well. Sorry. Hope you can see. It's just about, it's about 1/4 inch overlap that I've done, and not too much more. So you do that, and then these are where all the options begin to happen. So stay with me here. What we're going to do is I'm thinking about how tall I'd like my envelope. So right now, I think I'm going to make it about that tall. You choose, okay? Because these can be varied shapes as far as height and width. And that's why they may look kind of nice in a journal. I thought that these would be totally fun to put like gift card in, and maybe some love notes and stuff for some of my friends and my grandkids. Okay, so what we have now is, we've got one here, one here, one here, and one here. Okay, so what we want to do, do it a little bit better than me on matching the edges up. That's important. Okay. What you're going to do with your scissors is cut on that fold line to the next fold line. So that's what we're at now. You can kind of see that. Okay. And then you're also going to cut on that fold line and on that fold line. Hope that's making sense to you. So what we're going to want to do here is to make sure that our edges match up. We're folding it, not making a full crease here, but we're going to fold it so that our edges match up on top first. Yeah. Actually, let's fold it in first. That'll make it even easier. Okay, so we'll just fold it like this. I have to make a decision about which will be the outside and which will be the inside. I think I want that one on the outside. So let's keep them folded this way. So what we're going to want to do here on this part off here. And you want that amount that you're cutting off here to be shorter than this so that your flap still overlaps. That makes sense. Okay. This is a good time right now to ink. If you want, pay attention before you do to the edge of the top of your envelope. You could leave it square. You could use a quarter round punch if you wanted. I'm just going to make it like a fairly simple top. Okay. Okay, I'm going to ink. You want to ink it on all of the folds also. So like, oops. We'll just ink the folds here and the edges. I like to ink my edges because it hides the imperfections if I were just a little bit off on some of my cutting, and my cutting or my folding. It's actually a great camouflage tool that way. So I'm going to do the rest of that off camera and then I'll come right back. So now you're just going to glue. What you'll do is add glue along the top here. Excuse me, not the top, the side. Yeah, I think we'll do that. And we're going to close it up on this side here, just right along the edge. Again, that's where it needs it. Okay, so this pocket here, these ones here, I'm just going to glue right along here so that they're glued shut. And depending on the style, there's so many different ways that you could put this together. And really decorate it and make it your own. And I'll show you that with the different variations that we do. And I'll show you them stuffed kind of at the end, okay? So I'm just stuffed. I'll show you them stuffed and kind of decorated at the end, but I just do want you to see that, like, oh, I have no idea what we're doing here. So there's a tuck spot here, right? This might have jumped the gun on this, guys. Maybe I'll tuck stuff, something in here. And here. Oops. Oh, I forgot these pieces here too. Okay, so right, we have these two that are the pieces that we cut off. And what I'm going to also do there is I'm going to trim them just to the exactly the right size of fitting right here. So, right, make it go on either side, either direction. Not sure here. Should we try on the outside there first? Okay. So I also want to mention that I've purposely kept everything that is happening in this envelope here, the way that I folded it, the way that I put it together, so that I could put this in a journal, okay, and have it. This is why I haven't put anything on this side. But you know, we can also have done it this way, right? And had these reversed so that what you have is two sides. So I'll show you that on the next one, but I just wanted to make sure that you understood that, like, there's so many different ways to put it together, and these are the pieces from here, and they go here. So let me also put those here. Oops. My metal tip broke, and I can't find it, so I had to order another one. Rather than wait to do the video, I just went ahead. And I'm not sure if all of these will stuff in here, but you can see that at this point the decorating becomes really kind of a personal thing. However you want to do it, what you want to, you know, stuff in there. Like, let's see. Just giving you an example. Decorate it with fussy cuts. I'm not sure. And if you put it in a journal, what you can do is add glue here and here and here, and you might or might not make this closable. So these might or might not close. These can be folded a couple of different ways depending on what you're going to do, and if they're freestanding, they work just fine like that too. So let's just do it. My plan was to do it more like that in the journal on this one. Right? Put here. Might just put that there for now. Okay, so but let's move on to the next style of fold, and then you can kind of pick what you're going to do. You could, you know, experiment along the way. Okay, so this one we're going to start with something that's horizontal and not vertical. And we're going to pick this is on the inside. This page here is from the Thankful Thursday, the second week of January. And again, what we're just going to do is we're going to overlap it just enough here into bone folder and make sure your edges match well. And then you're going to choose how deep you want your envelope and how much of it you would like to be flap. So I think I'm going to just do it quite like that. So that first one I did, I was using copy paper. This is the thicker paper, and it's a little bit sturdier, but the creases are a little bit harder to do. Not an envelope because there's so many folds. I'm not sure if it's my favorite paper for it. But you can see now we have a similar shape that we had before, okay? And then we just need to do some cutting right now. And we're going to cut along this edge here, just like the other one. Along this edge here. We're going to cut out this portion here. And this portion here. Okay, so this one, what I like to have happen is I'm actually going to change some of the way that this is shaped. So putting these together again, I'm taking this and I'm folding it so I've got, let's see if I can show you. Okay, I'm not making a full crease here. I'm just wanting these to come together so that what I do matches the shapes of the two flaps match. That's what I'm wanting to have happen here. So and they're not going to match exactly, remember, because one side is slightly got a little bit of a lip on it so that it folds over. So just going to clean up my cuts a little bit more here. So when I've cut this edge here, then what's happened is that these pieces have come off it. Okay, and I'm going to flip those over. Use my, not sure if I'm going to be able to get a punch to fit there. Nope. Okay, so this is going to be just by a little bit of an eyeball. I wanted it to have a little bit more of a rounded edge. Okay, so here's what we have so far. Just to keep going here. I've rounded my corners, and that is just using a pair of scissors, completely optional. So some of the extra pieces that I cut off are part of what I'm going to use here in the next bit. So save your bits. And what I'm going to do is I need to have several of these punches here that are I'm going to try and use some contrasting colors. So probably we'll do this. This is a, I think it's a, yeah, this is a 1/2 inch punch for the bigger ones. And the smaller one, I'm not sure what it is, but it, and the smaller one, I need twice as many. In fact, it might even be useful to, I'm going to add some cardstock too, just for good measure. So I'm going to use a couple of these extra dots. So you'll be stacking 3 layers here. We kind of zoom in. So you can see here. Whoa. I just want to stack them with glue. I'm just layering them up. 1, 2, 3. do the same thing for the other 3. Okay, so I've also got a little bit of thread. This is, I'm just using some embroidery thread. And let's see what this is gonna look like. I've got some bits that I want to use on the top, but I hadn't picked them yet, so. Let's see. I think I'll use like these little bit smaller buttons on the top. So essentially now I'm going to switch the type of glue that I'm using, and I'm going to use first thing I want to do is I'm going to choose one. I'm using Fabri-Tac here. What I'm going to do is put some glue on the opposite side of what I'm wanting to face up. So the bottom, I'm going to add my little string. So the smaller dot with 1, 2, 3, that goes on the back. And then I'm just using a button top here. Just make a little closure. I glue to the bottom, which has the 3 on it, right? So we'll just whoops. I just spread my glue. You want to make sure it's in the place that you want. I'm just going to do the same thing here, which is to put your 3 smaller ones on the back. I'm going to apply glue to only the spot, yep, on the back of the 3, and place this where you're going to want to maybe a little bit close together, and then add your glue for your button, and we'll let it dry. So essentially what you'll be able to do is, as this closes, I think this needs to be moved just slightly before it dries completely. There we go. This is how you're going to end up closing it, but it needs to dry. Oops. go in here. I'm going to zoom back out. And what I need to do now is add my pieces here. In here, you can make a design decision about where you would like your opening for your pocket. It could be from the top or from the side. I don't know. It can be your choice. I'm gonna have mine, I think, from the top since I want everything to pop out. So I'm just gonna add glue. This is way too much glue, guys. This is a type of thing too on this envelope that I think that you can use any pockets that you have from any kit. So you could use any kit if you wanted, any papers. But if you have a kit that you're working with, like a journal that you're making, you could make these and then use some of the pockets that come with the kit to go inside the envelope so that you really have like it's a mini folio envelope. Oops. Putting glue in here, here, here. Probably going to want to ink these up, but make this really simple and oops, like this. So that if you have some fun things that you want to tuck behind here, you can, but you can also tuck them in there. So okay, so if you want to make this an envelope that you could send and basically make, you know, like a Valentine's envelope. So what you do at this point is glue your edges here and probably make just a little bit of a divot here so that you have an envelope on one side and then this on the front. I'm not going to do it that way because what I'm thinking is that, again, I'm going to probably want to have this in my journal. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this. Right about here. Looks like I'm gonna have to trim either side of these just a little bit so that it's gonna fold in okay. What I want to do is mimic the same thing. So I'm just going to use that to help me as my template. depending on what you like. I think I may just do it like this. I'll show you. I'm going to ink right now, and then it'll make a difference for you to be able to see. Okay, so now I'm going to add the pockets. And depending on what I want to tuck this pocket in, so since I'm, you know, like this is probably, they're going to poke out. I actually would like them to poke out. I'm going to actually add some glue, not just on there, but on the bottom too, so that I am choosing how deep this pocket is on purpose, so that more of my items kind of pop up. Give it more of a stuffed look, right? Here's my items. And then some of your smaller bits can go here. Okay, so as I'm working to kind of stuff and finish these pockets, I'm realizing I might really like to have something on this side here. And I'm going to go ahead and use some of the pockets that come with the kit. You could use a tag. You could add a tag. That might be something. I wanted them to kind of match though. So let's see here. Okay, I think I might use that. What I'm going to do is, because these are pockets for the kit, I am going to add glue only where I want the item to stick. So like right along the bottom here and up a certain amount for the pocket. We know that these, you're not going to be using those items, right? So I'm going to cut them off right away. And then I'm just going to place this where I want it. And then I'm going to trim from this side, my excess. Okay, the last thing I might show you on this one is that I've just kind of stuffed those, and this gets closed up. I wasn't sure what to do with the front more, and that may come. I am kind of thinking about adding like a lady. What do you guys think? And maybe even like a violet. Is that what those are called? A violet or a pansy? Okay, so now, hey, thank you so much for joining me. I was going to show you a third type, but when I realized that we were at nearly 40 minutes, I decided that I could save that for another day. Okay, hope to see you soon. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy my content. Any support is awesome, especially if you're learning something from me. I so appreciate you, and I so appreciate your presence. Okay, see you in the next video.